Hey guys, it's Cam, and it's gonna be a little bit awkward here for a minute, so fast forward if you're tight on time or patience. But I'm waiting for a couple of things, and then I'm gonna show you some auction items that we currently have as part of our online fundraiser event going on that ends, I think it's Tuesday. It only runs through the month of August. So if you haven't taken a look at it, I'm gonna have our admin team drop the information in the comments for you to link you out to it. If you haven't taken a look at it, please go do so. There might be something on there that you want, and I'm gonna show you a couple of things that I think everyone should want that we have available right now. So also, I'll get interrupted in a moment because Laszlo's outside doing his business, and he comes back in the door and lets himself in, but has not been trained to close the door. So I'm gonna have to do that. We had a question come in about puppy training and having a puppy that knows all its basics and listens and does well when there's no distractions, and then falls apart when there are distractions. So I'm gonna address that. It's a boxer puppy. But what I really want you guys to be aware of is this fabulous online event that we've got going on. And I would love to have you like up here. That'd be way more flattering for me, but because I'm tight on time, I was in a hurry, and so I kind of rushed through. I want to show you this quilt. It's just so stinking cool. So check out the online auction because you only have through the month of August to go, peruse the items. There's a bunch of like fun, bath, apothecary type stuff, okay? Lovely conditioners and shampoos and doggy related products and things. There's the Laszlo I told you would be coming in and doesn't know how to close the door, only knows how to open it. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So there are some great, just, yummy, fun little toiletry type things for men, women, and dogs alike. I'm gonna unpack this thing with you and me together. There's some Aveda products. We don't need to go into all the details on those. Some awesome Aveda products. Let's see, here's the other half of the doggy conditioner things. There's some sweet little balms and soaps and delightful items like so. Let's see here, there's some jewelry for auction. Cool little leather cuff. It's kind of tiny, so if you're not tiny like me, this might not fit you, but I'll show you. Van of that for you. Isn't that fun? Got a little metal doodad there. Nice leather cuff. That'll be good for layering, right? Okay, super fun. Let's see, what else? The piece de resistance is really this quilt, you guys, so I'll show you that in a minute. There's some things that are gift certificate-y. Hello everyone. Let me know you're here. Say hello. Hammer time. 12 different tools in one. Who doesn't need that? I know Michelle Hammer bid on this. So great. I want to say thank you so much to everyone who's just simply donated, who maybe didn't see an item that they really cared to have in their home and possession when the auction is done, but just donated. There are a handful of you that have just been unbelievably supportive. Hey George, thanks for saying hello. And I really cannot tell you how much that means to us. This was a really hard year. Missing out on being able to have this auction event as a live fundraiser and party and celebration was really such a big bummer. Hey Debbie. And so being able to, at least showcase the things that have been sitting and taking up space and or collecting dust all this time, and hopefully have them find homes in a way that also allows us to rescue dogs and help people. There we go, that's better. Is really important to us and obviously lifts our spirits. So huge thanks to those of you who just sent money and said, hey, we believe in what you're doing and we really want to see you continue to do that. That's pretty incredible. It's even better. I mean, really, you're better than the people who didn't and who just bid on the items, actually, sort of, in a way. I'm kidding. But thank you. And let's keep that good train going, shall we? So you have all through this weekend, and I think it's Tuesday, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Tuesday's the 31st? I go on vacation that day, so I should know that date. The auction ends at the end of the last day of August. So you need to get your bids in, you need to buy your raffle tickets if you wanted access to those beautiful baskets that are also available for raffle. Here's a sweet little, I just got a dog hair on that, piece of art that is available for auction. I'm hoping that by showing you some of these things in real time that you'll get a sense of their size. Okay, wood frame, very sweet. Love you to the moon and back. Okay. Also, some jewelry items. I already vanna'd these in for the photographs that Julie took to put on the site. This is really cool, this hand beaded situation. Okay, it's incredibly delicate, very sweet. It's got a really cool like pearl little doodad there. Should have done my nails before this. And then it's just a loop clasp, okay, to toggle it together. So this is a long mamma jamma that you could double up, you know, and wear like so, or long and layered. Super fun. Of the jewelry also featured are these cool little Day of the Dead skull earrings. Okay, fun, right? There's another cool beaded, I think these are all from Santa Barbara, thanks to Jody Miller. This is a price tag of $70 on it. These are probably fancy schmancy beads that I can't, and little charms. You see the little charms on there? Come on, camera, help me out. Okay, so layering, sweet. You could wrap this and do an anklet situation. Very bohemian chic, all right? I'm just trying to let you guys get a little bit of a different, connection to some of these items, okay? No pup tricks today. Anthony, no pup tricks today. Although, stay tuned. You never know what I might do on this broadcast because that's how I roll and it's my time. So I'll entertain you with whatever you want. If you all will go donate, I'll dance for you. I'll do like a song for you. I'd probably even get Mary to come out here and do a song with me. She's pretty willing to embarrass herself on the regular for a good cause in particular. So if that's what it takes to get your dollars, my friends, yes, tricks will be turned. Here's a cool Never Camp Alone Dog is Good magnet. I don't know where this is featured. I never saw that before. These are 8 cards and envelopes. They are paintings of California. Okay, cool, right? Everybody needs note cards, unless you're an asshole. You gotta be able to send a thank you from time to time. That's a great item. We also have some of the gift cardy things. Let's see if I can, oh, the glassy baby. I'm fighting with my mom. I'm gonna outbid my mom on the glassy baby thing. Learn about wine, private class. I think you have to be in California for this one. Ponte, also California. This is a $150 gift certificate. Awesome gift. I feel like that came from Charlie's family. Really cool. 150 bucks to Ponte Winery. That's a really good time, okay? You guys could go do that. Let's see here. We also have some museum tickets, okay? Soho Museum, Heritage Museum. Thank you, Save Our Heritage organization. Comes with a nice little letter, procured a bunch of tickets, so you can go have that experience if you want to. Very cool. Glassy baby. Here's what I'm fighting my mother for. We're both collectors of Glassy baby. So this is a $100 gift card, and if you're not familiar with Glassy baby, they're handmade, hand-blown glass. Mostly the votives are what I think are so stellar, but they also make drinking glasses and different things now too. Go to their website, check them out. They're stunning, they're really beautiful. I have a whole collection that is absolutely one of those things that I tell people if the house is burning down, grab those Glassy babies. Then, what else do we have here in this box? A pizza stone? I don't know, is that what that is? No, this is the art. This is some of the rest of the art. So there are some paintings, like so, like that. Ta-da! Again, just trying to give you a little connection to the size and the colors and so on and so forth. These were donated as well, I think by Jody and family. There's another one. Okay, these are all on the auction site, all right? So you can go wherever April is. I don't know why my assistant's not here yet. April, help! She'll drop it in the comments for you. It's not like you can go look at it while you're hanging out with me anyway, so later. But go check out the site Galabid and register and bid on some stuff, yo. This is cool. It's kind of like a prickly pear, huh? Very California. Glass. Okay, glass. The pictures are better. We'll do it more justice if you go on the Galabid site and you look at the pictures. And then, wait for this quilt, you guys, because, oh my gosh, so amazing. Now, listen, on this quilt, it has a reserve price and it has not been met yet, meaning it's worth a bare minimum of $400. Now, if y'all don't get in there and get that bidding going on and get it up there, I'm not sure what we're gonna do, because it needs to go for a bare minimum of that reserve bid. I didn't make that price up. The beautiful crafter of the product itself gave us that amount. So let me show you why it is worth no less than $400. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Stand by. This quilt is however many feet by however many feet. Okay. Oh, I need a camera woman. All right, hold on. Oh my God. I really need my roomie to come help me. Okay, so check this out, right? It's so big, okay? It's bigger than me. It's so big. It's a beautiful, beautiful quilt. Now let's drape it over all of this stuff and then including you. You ready? Okay, flip this around. Detail. Now, not only is it dog bones, okay, but look at the stitching. All the bones and dogs. Look at the stitching. Look at all this. Look at this dog. See? Upside down dog. All right, hold on. Hold on. Get back here, video. Let me find you another one. Look at the stitching on this quilt. See the doggy? Isn't that awesome? So it has this really lovely, neutral, earthy color scheme going on. There's kind of a cool little like subtle green that pops out here and there. Here's a better light from the skylight. Okay. Look at the detail. Look at all the dogs stitched in here. How cool is that? How freaking cool is that? Nyan's family donated this quilt. Absolutely awesome. Okay. And then the back side is this sort of paisley. Yeah. Isn't that cool? And look, again, at the detail of the backing, the stitching in the backing here. Look, here's one of those cool doggos. Oh, come on, phone. Stop giving me a hard time. I'm trying to do something for good. Okay, look, here's a dog house. Can you see it? You see the dog house? And the little doggy door? Okay. Really cool, right? So much detail. So much detail. Here's a dog with its ears flapping. This is challenging to do. Okay, see it there with its little booty up in the air and a tail? How cute is that? Right? Isn't that so cool? You guys, I'm telling you, this thing is worth its weight in gold. It's lovely. It's a gorgeous cotton, beautiful handmade item. And I just really want you to see the detail that you may or may not been aware of. Okay, look at it, it's giant. I really need a second person here to give us some Vanna White action, but you can see it's big, and it really is. Love is in the details. Okay, so these are little doggy paws, right? Isn't that neat? I'm just getting some more people on the broadcast, so I just want you to be able to see how cool is this stitching. Little dog house. So cool. Here's another dog. This one's a little different. What do you think, Laszlo? Isn't that cool? Right? So cool. Okay, so dabbled in quilting, that's some serious talent, right? I know. I couldn't even begin to have the patience for this. I'm so impressed. So let me get my little box area back, and I'm going to flip you guys again. Okay, and I'm going to just let you look at my sad, begging face a little bit longer, and then I'll answer the question. Jessica, I think that was your question, huh, that came through today. Is my brain actually working? Is that right? That was your question. Um, that would be impressive if I'm putting those dots together right now because I am tired, my friends. Tired. It is the home stretch for board and train graduation. Okay, so yes, really important that oh, hey Dane, tell your mom thank you. I don't know if she'll see this, but I just showed a bunch of the auction items that she procured for us in 2020, 2019. And I really appreciate her so much. We're hoping that they find all good homes. Shepherd hair. So yeah, please pass on to Jody. Huge thanks because we're running the thing online right now and trying to send these things to a good home. And we couldn't have done it without all her goodies that she collected. So you guys, you gotta check this quilt out. You gotta bid it up. It's absolutely amazing. This is folded in half and it's two of me. It's probably like almost a queen size. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? I just showed you a bunch of the stitching detail and the colors, and I'm hoping you'll share this out. Tell your friends and family, maybe they want to bid on an amazing item for a great cause. We're kind of banking on some of these, like a couple of big humdingers, you know what I mean? That's how this works. So thank you to Sean Markham. She has already bid on the quilt and donated, and some of you have just been incredible with those donations. Like I said, extremely grateful. Thank you so much because this was a lot of work to put on. Julie Feliciano on our board of directors has just done a lot of work. She's been super anxious and stressed out, I'm sure. She can admit to that because she really wanted to see this thing be successful. And it's just really hard to get traction on events like this. It's not ideal. It's not the best platform because as you saw, you can't get a sense of the items quite as well as when you can put your hands on them, right? So as I showed you with this quilt, it's stunning. It has incredible detail. It's absolutely an amazing labor of love. It's a really special treasured item that could be in your home if you win, and you wouldn't know all that really went into it unless you could see it and touch it and interact with it in that way. So that is my plug for that. April's going to get you guys the links out to the Gala Bid event. It's also on our website. So worst case scenario, you get off the live stream and you're like, I'm a busy person. I'm going to forget. I'm going to go do that right now before it escapes my attention, and go to our website, hope2k9.com. And you will find in the, a few places, but definitely in the resources, I think, events and resources, you'll find information about the auction right there. Okay. So you can go out to the Gala Bid site. You can get yourself registered. You can start bidding it up or just make a donation, or you can just donate through the website. If that's your jam right now, we appreciate it. We are trying to make up for a massive loss last year, and it will really tremendously help us out in our rescue efforts and the work that we have to do going forward. Laszlo, get out of the kennel. Okay, so I'm going to come back to Jessica's question. 2 seconds. You are not being helpful anymore. You're supposed to be the assistant to Vanna White, okay? All right, guys. So I'm going to answer this question about the boxer. Now I don't have the written information in front of me, but I'm pretty sure I remember it pretty darn well, and I'm pretty impressed with myself. In fact, that I also recognized that our asker was viewing and present. So thank you for submitting this question because Jessica, it's going to help a lot of people. It'll be very relatable. And the first person who came to mind, in fact, was Stephanie, who has Charlie the boxer, who I worked with in the puppy program very early on. They had a lot of really solid and powerful intentions around the experience they wanted to have with their last puppy. They set out to, do everything they could to prevent the issues that they had had in the past with dogs, with their boxer specifically. So, their process of getting involved with training support, was early and often, and they've done a really amazing job with this dog, but he's also been really difficult because he's so high drive. So the thing that I thought of when you asked your question, Jessica, first and foremost was it would be really helpful to have a temperament test or assessment on your puppy and to know what those results were. If you didn't ever do that, it's not perfectly suited to temperament test your puppy with a Volhard test at this stage in the game.
but it's still helpful and it's still information. And so I would encourage you to set that up. Now, it's going to be hard to do because the test should be done by somebody the puppy's never met in a place they've never been, a room, just a room they've never been in. If there happens to be a room in your house they've never been in, great. You might even be able to say your garage is a space they haven't been in at that age. But chances are, if your puppy's 5 months old, that she's pretty much been all up in your business and all your spaces, right? So taking her to somebody else's house and going into a room in their house that this dog has never been in, and then having somebody she's never interacted with actually provide the test. Now, because of COVID, perhaps you have a friend you haven't seen in the 3 months that you've had this dog, and they would be willing to let you come over and test your puppy in their office or their garage, and they would do the handling, and you could look at the scoring sheet. A Volhard test will give you some good information about, at the core, emotionally, objectively, what is my dog, who is my dog really, and what is their driving motivator, their predominant drive, meaning, what they're hardwired to do, because dogs are hardwired in their drive, in that they either have more or less prey drive, pack drive, defense drive. We see these behaviors come out in the form of hunting and being on their nose and being compulsive about tracking or wanting to, kill vermin and birds and, being aggressive towards cats. I mean, there could be different scenarios where this is what is the expression of drive. Same thing is true with really significant instances of separation anxiety. A lot of dogs with serious separation anxiety, first and foremost, their genetic hardwiring is to be high pack drive. They want to be in the pack. They need the pack. They default to the pack for information. They're less independent. They're less solid and confident in themselves. So if we could get a temperament test of your puppy, and we could have a sense of who is she when we're objective to the behavior that we're experiencing right now, or the bond that we've built, that's going to really help us out in recognizing what is realistic of our expectations going forward for training and behavior or management, and then what are we maybe missing that we need to bring into the mix to balance this dog out better and give her a release for her drive. Because when I typically see a puppy like the one you're describing early on in life demonstrating such a high level of frustration and overwhelm at stimulus that they encounter when the stakes are higher than at home, and sometimes it's even at home, it generally has been on account of that puppy having very high drive and not getting a release and an outlet for that. It also is often a byproduct of being unfulfilled and inexperienced. And if your puppy is 5, 6 months old and she's an only dog, that makes sense, right? Because she's not getting what is the most basic, natural, desired outlet for her fulfillment socially, and learning from good mentors of other dogs and getting corrected by other dogs, which in and of itself helps deal with bite inhibition, where your puppy is redirecting and getting nasty towards you when she's frustrated and overwhelmed and you're blocking her from making choices. You're also seeing, just a significant list, right, of fallout for a dog that is like, you're not relevant and credible. You don't understand me and validate me in the ways that I need. And I've got all this pent up frustration that I'm not being able to work out in the most basic and natural of ways. If you take your dog to a dog park, it's not the same. If you take your dog to your friends' houses or your family's house to play with their dogs, it's not the same. I hope you can see that, right? But Jessica, if you can give me some answers as I'm answering your question about maybe the validity of where this is landing, or if I'm missing entirely, that'd be really helpful. Thank you, April. Appreciate you dropping the link for the auction in there. That's super. You're right on time. It's no issue. That would be, Jessica, that'd be really helpful, because this is just typically what I see. It's not always 100% the case, but what is, really important is that we also break down how you interact with your dog and what you consider to be effective corrections, right? So yeah, so your dog's never been to a dog park, but there again, that also maybe means even more of that deficit component, right? So since you brought your puppy home, Does she socialize with other dogs at all? And give me an example or two of when she has, or what she's experienced, or what the solutions are that you have had for socializing her, because I suspect that's a big part of your challenge. Adolescent class with 15 other dogs and wants to play. And if they're all puppies, again, they are not what we're talking about here in terms of being effective quality interaction and social experience to drain and develop a puppy the way we need to. Guys, for those of you that are listening that are thinking that you want to get a puppy, or that you want to add a dog to your life in order to help your puppy to be fulfilled, don't get another puppy if you have a puppy. For fuck's sake, this is such a mistake that we in this training industry, we tear our hair out, right? I had so much more hair when I started this work. We tear our hair out because people think my puppy needs a friend, a playmate, and then they get another young dog that also has limited knowledge and experience and is maybe, even dealing with its own stuff. Okay, case in point, I just sent Blue and Red home today, and they are challenging as a duo. And then now you just are ganged up on. You have two canines, two predators who are speaking the same language, sharing a conversation you are rarely privy to. And now they're feeding off of each other. And where you are lacking potentially in being empowered and cognizant and conscientious and connected to how you communicate with your dog to begin with, you're now struggling with the duo, right? So, what we would want to see for a young dog is a mature dog that comes along and has the right balance of personality and temperament and energy and influence, and can imbibe into that younger dog the ability to turn off and fuck off and leave me alone. That's a really important skill for puppies to learn from adult dogs, but also to play and build a relationship where they can have that reciprocity of wrestling and, interacting with each other. Okay. In a healthy way that is, quality, not quantity. We don't want a couple of puppies running around never turning off. That's not a good thing. So, okay, so not much, but once a week in class. She's the youngest. She's so sassy, hesitant to bring around unknown dogs. No, Jessica, no, 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 no. That's exactly why she needs to go around unknown dogs. She needs to piss other dogs off and get her ass kicked. She gets a 30-minute walk at 5 a.m., an hour and a fetch at 8, 1 to 2 hours a nature hike in the evening. Yeah, you're almost doing too much in that department. It's not quality, it's quantity. We want to reverse that. We want quality interactions, not a quantity of them. And so here again is where some of the behavior you're experiencing is attitudinal. It's a puppy that's like, screw you. I'm used to getting more freedom and having more interaction and validation for my energy. And I feel entitled as a result to correct you when I'm frustrated or I don't want to do something, which is what's happening when the stress is increased. So, Jessica, this is exactly the type of puppy. I don't know where you live, what your accessibility is to a balanced trainer or a balanced socialization opportunity. But honestly, even if you have friends with a pissy old dog, get your puppy over there stat. Do not delay, because you're already outside of a key developmental window where we could have influenced some of this at a much higher level. That's how quickly developmentally these things get established. Okay. The social skills of our puppies, though, they are based on genetics and hardwiring and early influence and intervention and experience and patterning that happens during the whelping process before you ever got the puppy, right? That's the person who's raising the litter with the mom and what the mom does. And then you're going to see the influence of the first month to 6 weeks that they're with you in your home. That then closes a door on socialization in a big way. Things are really established and put in place. If all the work happened prior to 14 and 16 weeks, we could potentially not socialize our dog for years and then still have an awesome social balanced dog later on if those things were done correctly and the genetics are good. Okay. You're in Vista working with Pam Chandler and Encinitas. Okay. I don't know her. I don't have any judgments about her, but my goodness, I'd love to get my hands on your puppy just for a social, because I would love to build your confidence around what you actually need to be worried about and what you don't. So many puppy parents are overprotective and avoidant of situations where their dog needs to fail and be corrected in order to learn. And it's hard for almost everyone, okay? Even I, as much of a hard ass as I am, I even have a different relationship with my dog, right? And anyone close to me in my world knows that I will admit this and that they can call me out on it on the regular, that my dog's totally entitled. And he's wrapped around my pink. Wait, I'm wrapped around his pinky finger. So that being said, I can get away with that because I'm equally firm in my discipline as I am soft in my affection. The fact that my dog sleeps on the bed and is always doing work with me and goes pretty much everywhere with me is balanced by the fact that when he was 8 weeks old, 9 weeks old, 10 weeks old, 5 months old, 8 months old, 2 years old, he's turning 3 next week. You all can tell him happy birthday. I would kick his ass if he did something out of turn, right? The boundaries and expectations have always been very clear. This is what I do for a living. The training started immediately. And so the foundation was laid for me to be able to release the grip and allow freedom and choices. And I can rein him in and correct him and get him on track as needed. But really now he's default and patterned to doing the right things in the circumstances that matter. I don't have pulling and reactivity on the walk. I don't ever get a dog that tantrums and argues with me when I correct him. He accepts my boundaries. Okay. He's pushy. His personality, his temperament, his breed. This is a boxer we're talking about, right? They still check. They still double check. Are you sure? You sure you don't want to play a game with me right now instead? Everything is a game to them. But if I say no, it's no, right? So this is because very early on, to my point, I allowed him to get corrected and to fail. I allowed other dogs and other people to correct him. So he gets it. He's accepted it. He's neutral to that. He understands this is not devastating. I don't have to fall apart and be so butthurt that I just got told that I'm not the center of the universe right now. I can be okay in my own skin and accept that boundary and go away and then recover. Okay. So we need your puppy to have that skill. We need you to farm your puppies out, guys. It's the best thing you can do. Send them to other people's houses. Get them interacting with adult dogs, especially dogs who aren't into them, because life necessitates that we understand not everyone likes us. Can you imagine where I would be if I started my business 7, 8 years ago and started putting myself online and gave a crap about all the haters that have come along over the years and had a judgment about the way that I look, the way that I talk, the information I share, the strategies of training, whatever the things I've done that I have been present in the world for feedback about? You have to have thicker skin than that, right? You have to understand you're not going to please everyone. Not everybody will like you, and you can still be groovy in your own skin and solid and rooted in who you are, what you deserve, have great boundaries, connect deeply with the right people on account of that confidence and health and balance, and be able, therefore, to really have a full and awesome life, right? Our dogs only have the ability to be included with us and earn freedom in the capital F sense, right? If they have those skills and abilities, if they have that balance, if they have started out early in life being told no and go away, they have to learn to process that stress and recover and accept that as a natural part of being in relationship with the world and with others. So getting your dog in for a social and stressing her out and teaching her how to move through that and letting her act out in her maybe more dominant or strong disposition towards a dog that will tell her, you're funny, is actually the best thing we can do. If you're going to a puppy class and you're working on obedience, but you're not getting this, they're letting you down. This is a massive deficit. And it's exactly why I don't do classes like that. You see what I mean? Because they're a dime a dozen, they're everywhere. But what's missing and why our puppy program is so different is these abilities to drop a puppy into a pack and say, this is how the world works. And you can totally navigate it. Let's build your confidence to do so and your clarity to be successful at whatever is thrown at you. Oh, my assistants need to stop texting me, messaging me. And then, building on that over time. That's also such a quality energy drain for your puppy to go through compared to what is now easy that you're doing repetitively. You're just frustrating her. You're not giving her a release, okay? She needs a release. Dogs teach our puppies better. Previous 90-pound big boy boxer attacked twice by a German Shepherd. That's why I was hesitant. Sounds like I should get her out to dog park and create better boundaries. Jessica, I didn't say dog park. I did not say that. The dog park is a risk, my friend, and I am not a fan of dog parks. I just know that the reality is a lot of people use them. Now, if your dog park is like the one I had on Whidbey Island in Washington when it was 20 years ago with my first boxer, if you can go to the dog park and there's usually only 3 or 4 people and they're actually cool and they're actually managing their dogs and it's a big open space, right? Then it might be okay. So time of day dependent, you don't want to go in a high traffic time. You've really got to stand outside and have discernment about whether or not people are paying attention to their bloody dogs. If you look around the park before entering it and you've got an owner on their cell phone and a dog humping somebody else's leg, do not go in, please. Avoid. The other problem with dog parks is that they're rampant with parasites and other nonsense. You get a lot of giardia and shit picked up at the dog park. So it's not the best place for this. What I was recommending to you was a pack social. We do that here. Balance trainers typically curate those and do them at their facilities or within the context of their training programs. They are more effective, okay? A pack social with a playground monitor, meaning the dogs are being held accountable. There are rules. There is no fiddle fucking. There is no beating up on somebody else or assaulting somebody else sexually in an inappropriate way, okay? That's what you need for your puppy to experience. And you need the curating of the right dogs to contribute to her education to be intentional. Dog park doesn't give you that. So there's a lot of caveats to dog park. The deal is just if it's already your resource and outlet, because sometimes there are opportunities where you can go to a field and you meet the neighbor people at 3 o'clock every day the same way, and their dog's actually a good match for your dog, and that's great. I'm super happy for anybody who has access to that, okay? But if you don't, then you need to get something on the calendar strategically with people who know what they're doing and are going to protect your dog. The last thing I want to say, though, about your above comment, which is really astute and good self-awareness for you, when you've had a bad experience, your last dog being attacked, case in point, when you've had a bad experience, guys, your process, the recipe you use to move through the world is what's dictating how you take that forward into your next life, okay? So if you had a bad experience back there and now you're operating with this current dog with anxiety and a tight grip because you don't want to go through what you went through back there, what you're effectively doing is bracing for what you don't want to create, okay? Because that's what happens. What we focus on grows. So your avoidance, your stress, your worry and fear and concern are now what have been the predominant driving forces on how you're raising your current puppy. And it's not uncommon at all, by the way, Jessica. This isn't about shame or blame on any level. In fact, I think if I ask everybody that relates and understands that they've done this in some way, shape, or form, or are currently doing it, to put a hand up emoji, they will flood in over the course of time that this broadcast is viewed, because we've pretty much all done it. The key is you have to become aware, right? We just had this conversation during the go home session this morning for red and blue. There was massive awareness and consciousness that came for those owners out of going through their go home sessions and seeing the contrast now of their dog's choices in relationship to the relationship they share with them. So how they work for me versus how they work for mom and dad, mind-blowing difference, because there's not respect and trust at home. It has not been established in a credible way. So what we need to do is we need to become more aware, and the process of that pain point for them and the frustration and seeing that contrast has now turned the lights on in a way that was not present previously, and that's awesome. That's exciting. That's all that needs to happen. Don't go back and fault yourself and feel crappy. That shame and blame is useless. Just have awareness and go, yeah, I was really like putting my shit on my puppy, because your puppy is giving you feedback in all of these behaviors, right? Where she'll do everything when it's in a controlled, comfortable manner and there's no stimulation and stress. Guess what? You're doing well in your house too, and you're falling apart when you go outside. There's a mirror. Okay. So your puppy's just giving you feedback about you. And she's saying to you, you are holding on so tightly into controlling this experience and situation and wanting to not have those old things happen and repeat those old mistakes or go through the trauma of how your older dog was affected back in the day, that you're now putting this unhealthy amount of bracing and stress and pressure on your new dog, and you're disconnected from your influence there and where you need to respond differently to help her out and be the best version of herself. They're not the same dog. You're not living the same life. If you're a military family, you probably weren't even living in the same place, right? So think about that, marinate on that, because damn, that's some juicy stuff that will empower you in your conscientiousness about how you interact with your dog currently. The energy will change and you'll automatically get different behavior just from that, okay? Let alone your now ability to give direction and information to the puppy from a place that is more empowered and more confident and more level-headed, okay? Because corrections do not land well with dogs when they're coming from stress, reactivity, anxiety, uncertainty, etc. You need to be able to deliver a consequence and a correction calmly and assertively. That's a credible leader, okay? A leader who flips out, yells, panics, avoids, whatever those things are, they're not a credible leader. That's not somebody that we want to follow. We've got to keep that in mind because our dogs are choosing in and out of that leadership dynamic with us based on how we show up to the party, okay? So the last thing that I want to point out, so many little alerts. The last thing I want to point out is in your inquiry, okay? Yeah, I'm glad you caught it early too. And thank you, Jessica, again for this question, because you're going to help a lot of people. And this is so relatable for a lot of people. I promise you that. But the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about was the fact that in your question, you had said, our 5-month-old, does really well on the obedience and training inside before we add all the distractions and the chaos and challenge. And then she falls apart when there's more stimulation and excitement and stress and pressure and all those things, arousal. And even turns on you, right? And becomes borderline aggressive. She's biting, she's throwing everything that she has in her toolkit, in her wheelhouse at you to let you know, I'm so frustrated. You're blocking me. 6 months, almost 7. Thank you. You're blocking me from making a choice I feel impulsively or irrationally that I need to make. That's pissing me off. I don't have the trust and respect I need to in the corrections you're giving me. So I feel empowered to push back on you. Now, again, some of this is age related. Some of this can be a developmental stage that you're going through. You got to just hang in there, stay steady, or, pull back a little bit on the level of pressure that you're putting on the dog. I had asked at the top of the broadcast about a temperament assessment because I'd really love to know, who really is this dog at the core before we influence and ask anything of her. But what I want to say to you about this situation is, if that's happening to you in the most basic sense, you're not challenging her enough in here, okay? So I go through this with almost everyone, okay? It comes up all the time. If you've got leash reactivity, it's solved in the house. If you've got, overwhelm and defense drive issues and disconnect outside, it's built in here because this is where you spend the majority of your time. This is where you're sending the message all day long about who you are, what you're about, whether you are somebody who shows up and does what they say they're going to do and follows through on corrections and boundaries and various, credible, respectable things. Or if you cut corners, you are lazy, you're inconsistent, you're soft, your dog is absorbing all that information all day, every day, where you spend the majority of your time. And that is what's informing them when the stakes are high. Okay. So we need to fix what's going on in here. Whatever classes you've been going to, you've probably gotten some great information, but I would confidently like to venture to guess that they're missing the boat entirely when it comes to coaching you on your relationship. And I have that already, with confidence something that I can stand on based on your response to some of the other things I've shared with you. But more importantly, because when you're doing obedience and you're training for lifestyle, right, out in the world, you've got to take those basics and you've got to be empowered on how to up the ante and the challenge level in here. And you have to be empowered to understand how influential it is, whether you let your dog come out of the crate, excited, or you stop them, slow them down, calm them, and expect eye contact. Whether you allow your dog to go through the door to go out and go to the bathroom with excitement and rushing and going past you, or you slow them down, you own your space, you create an expectation of calmness and control and respect and eye contact before they're released to go out and have access to that luxury, okay? What you're doing in the house and how you're working your dog needs to be modified in order to start adding pressure and stress and challenging her attitude to another level of mastery, of understanding that she needs to default to your lead and that she needs to have the ability to self-soothe and have impulse control, even if and especially when she's overwhelmed, overexcited, concerned, insecure, whatever the case may be. So if you're doing repetition of obedience with your almost 7-month-old dog and you're still delivering lots of treats and food rewards, I would say that's part of the problem. If you are correcting your puppy with only a flat collar at almost 7 months old, based on the behavior you've told me, and you're just telling her no, but you don't have any credible tool to back it up, that's a missing piece for you right now. If you are only asking your dog to lay down on a comfy bed and she's hanging out and learning to start laying in a downstay on a comfortable bed, but that's pretty much the only place she does it, that's a gap in your training process inside the house. So there would be, okay, there you go. Nailed it. God, I'm smart. I really do know what I'm doing. So these are problems that you're having about how you're training in the house. It's why you're getting fucked up out there, okay? I would do it differently. And I would say this is exactly validating why you have to be willing to recognize and accept the dog in front of you, guys. There is not a one-size-fits-all program. We can't just put all puppies in a puppy class, work on a martingale, and reward with treats and be successful across the board at fulfilling drive, releasing the dog's, energy in a quality way, getting credible trust and respect established between a soft handler and an anxious handler and a dominant dog. There's a lot going on here, Jessica. You see what I mean? So I think your tools need to change. I think you need to be able to correct your dog more effectively for the small minutia of bullshit. And I think you need to learn strategically how to up the challenge around what you do in your day-to-day life here so that you squash all that nonsense that is still existing and or building and being very practiced and habitual and established in this puppy. It's going to be a hell of a lot harder to change later on. Okay? This would be a puppy that would come into our board and train program and the puppy program. We do 1 week intensive typically, and then 2 weeks later with remote collar training. Although at the age that she's at, she's right on the cusp of being a dog that would just come in for the full board and train program. We do the heavy lifting on a lot of this stuff, lots of socialization, get the right tools trained the right way with your puppy, then show you where all your gaps are, build your awareness and consciousness, and bring you two back together in a much more empowered way. So that's our process here. That's how we get the results we get, and we don't leave people stuck in those situations where they're frustrated and they're bracing for the thing they don't want, which is then creating it. I love that you stepped into training right away and that you're working your puppy. That's wonderful. And I really want to give you props for that, because the earlier you start this type of work, the better. But you've got some gaps. This isn't a program that is sustainable for you long term without consequences. And that's just a function of who this dog is, what she's demanding of you, and who you are and where you're coming from in your dog knowledge and your energy and your personality type, right? So really hope that was helpful. I'm glad, and you're welcome. Thank you, Jessica, for being a part of Fix It. It's always wonderful when we get these questions. It allows us, again, to just unpack things that a lot of people are dealing with. And I think this is a really juicy one. You know where to find us if you do want some more support. If there's things that we can do, we're not that far from you, to help you out. Just go to the website, complete a contact form. The team will get you connected with me. We can do an evaluation if necessary. But ultimately, I see a path for you here where there's a lot of missing pieces that could still be put in place to radically improve the dynamic. And I'd encourage you not to wait too long, because it's evident that there's a very, definite gap between your knowledge and comfort level and what needs to happen and who this dog is and what she's demanding of you. So let's take care of that before she becomes more of a brat, or more frustrated and established in her patterns and her disconnect from you when the stakes are high. We want her to be able to be included in your life. All right, gang, the quilt, I'm telling you, man, it's awesome. Please go bid on it. It's so cool. See all the little amazing stitching? Go back and watch. If you came in late to the broadcast, please go back and watch. I showed you in detail some of this stuff, and it is awesome. Yeah, Jessica, if you do want to go through a program, definitely fill it out today, because we're booking out. We can get you started on some things while you're waiting, for sure. But our programs are booking in October and November right now, depending on what trainer you're going to. So for me, I think it's October. Maybe September. Any hoodle. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me, and share this out if you think it might be helpful for others, or you've got people in your community and you can tag them and tell them to check out our auction. We sure would appreciate it. All right, gang, have a wonderful day. I'm off next week. I will not see you for Fix It next Friday. I'm going to go for a little road trip and get away, and I'll see you when I come back. All right, take care.